And we're live.
Welcome to the Biker's Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Brian Dirty Duvall.
And I'm Tank. I'm just going to go with Tank. You know, my name is Chris Bohr, but not Tank. So Tank and Dirty.
That too. And today we're joined by fellow patch holder brother, Mijo. What's going on, Mijo?
Not much, just living life.
There you go. Well, Mijo, we usually start these interviews, since you're number 2 now.
Well, hold on here, though.
Well, I guess.
No. Back this up.
Yeah.
You're on medication right now, aren't you?
A little bit.
All right, so you got a little throat thing going on?
Well, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to it. We have a fan. I think we have two fans, a couple people following us.
Easily, by now.
But by now, we know you guys have been begging for something new coming in, and well, here it is. It just took my dad dying for it to come this early. I was down in Florida. My dad died. So I'm back up here up north to see what the fuck snow looks like again.
It sucks.
It sucks. It's everything I remember it to be.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Just to let you know, 3 days ago it was 85, and I was riding on my scoot in a t-shirt and my cut.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think last Friday it was negative 16 for an actual temperature.
Yeah.
Not to mention the wind chill, which is, the real forecast, because if it feels like 30, then or 30 below, then it might as well just be fucking 30 below.
Well, it slapped me like a big donkey, fucking dead donkey dick in the face when I walk into my house, and my wife says, "Hey, our electric bill was a little high while you're gone." I'm like, okay. I said, maybe a toilet was running, so we walk in the house. No, toilet's not running. She's like, do you hear it? And I'm like, fuck. So we had a burst pipe in the basement that had sprayed for probably about 2 months, so we didn't realize it until we walked in the house. And so, yeah, winter sucks, man. We don't get that shit in Florida, just bobcats and alligators in my backyard.
And hurricanes, you guys get the hurricanes.
Oh, and the Florida man.
Yeah, Florida men, but,
Yeah, and
Cubans.
and
Cubans.
and old people driving cars through intersections who do not give a fuck
Oh, no, we
about
get that
people
here.
on two wheels. Oh, no.
Is it more so down? Well, I would assume
Since
Florida.
when I was down there, and you guys in the Biker's Lifestyle know who live down there, they don't give a fuck, man. I've seen shit.
Yeah.
And there was like, for a while there, it was like a biker a week was dying. I'd read it in the paper. Like, biker killed here. I mean, it just gets to be the norm.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's
crazy.
Yeah.
So we're back. We're going to do a couple episodes while I'm up here. We're going to try to keep it going. And then, of course, this summer, we're going to get it going strong.
Yeah, we picked like the worst time to start doing this.
We did.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we recorded those 6 episodes in
10 days.
something like that, yeah. And then you moved to Florida right after that, literally.
Temporarily relocated.
Temporary. And long story short, it just, life happens.
It
You know.
does. It does.
Doesn't help, You get the sickness, and then the holidays come into play, and
Hey,
long
but-
story short, here we are. We're trying to do it all over again.
Yeah, but you know what, brother? I look at those videos then, and I was still pretty sick then. I was still trying to get that booze out of my system.
Yeah,
I almost drank myself to death, but I'm doing good now, man. I've lost over 70 pounds and
Awesome.
feeling good. Back on the scoot, feeling good, man.
Nice.
Still
yeah.
walking with the cane, but ready to fucking kick ass and take names as best I can for a man who's fucking handicapped and walking with a cane.
Well,
But I'm still full of piss and vinegar, and I'm ready to go.
there
That's
you
all
go.
that counts.
Some of you young fucks in the club don't remember the old Tank, but you got the handicap version. So, all right, now we can move forward. So go ahead with your fucking introduction, brother.
Mijo, ladies and gentlemen.
Mijo.
Mijo, patch
up?
holder
Yes.
of the very same club that we're in. And,
He had a different name when he came in, though.
yeah, but he had the same name as somebody else, kind of, sort of, and it would have been confusing. And
The guy from episode 5.
yeah, we try to keep shit simple around here.
Yep.
Because it came up even in your hang around period. They'd be like, oh,
Yep.
was here, and then it's like, oh, well, which one are you talking about?
Shit's
Well,
already confusing enough.
yeah, shit's already confusing right now, so fuck it.
Shaggy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're Mijo.
Yeah,
Because we already had a Cholo, and you're our second Mexican. So.
that's right. Latino American.
Oh, is that what it is? Are we being
I don't
politically
know.
correct on this
I don't
show
know.
now?
I think you might have just gotten us kicked off of every single streaming platform for saying
Whatever.
the word Mexican. But
We-
wait, you are Mexican descent, right?
Correct.
Okay, so
Yeah.
actual Mexico.
Yeah, my dad's
Okay.
from Mexico, actually.
Right.
My mom's from Michigan. My dad's from Mexico, so
What do you
yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Well, I mean, okay, fine. What's it like growing up Mijo? What happened when you were a kid?
Shit. Let's see. So I was born in Milwaukee originally.
Oh.
My parents, after a while, we moved to south side of Chicago. Ended up having a brother. Grew up there. Everybody was getting involved, like in the street gang shit down there, and that's kind of what you grew up seeing. You know, you just didn't even have to be technically associated with a gang.
Were you into Barrio SA?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that shit, pretty much. But like, you didn't necessarily have to be gang affiliated. But it's like you'd walk to school and people would be like, "Hey, what neighborhood are you from?"
I gotta ask a question. Did you have your shirt buttoned right up to the top button and then no other buttons?
No, I didn't stop. I didn't start doing
that. Oh, come
that.
on, man.
I didn't start doing that until I started hanging around here.
You know?
Well, it's because it's kind of funny because I grew up the first, I don't know, third of my life in Chicago as well. I was from Rogers Park, which was, I guess, the far northeast side. And it's kind of funny because there's an app. I forget the name of this app, but it keeps track of the body count of Chicago and the most dangerous neighborhoods. And what's funny is my buddy showed me this app because, you know, he likes to look at weird apps. And if you look at the app, it has, like, certain colors for certain really dangerous areas. And if you look at, like, say, the southwest side, it's all, like, orange and yellow, and that's, like, the high body count, high, you know, murder rate. And then you look up north, and it starts getting blue, green, and then there's this little section that's orange and yellow. That's Rogers Park. Because it's always been kind of one of them areas. So when you say, yeah, you know, everybody gangs up, no, I completely understand.
Yeah,
it's when I moved up here, it was a different fucking planet.
Dude, super different.
Dude, everything was just fucking backwards.
Even the way people talk was weird.
I know. Yeah.
It was a culture shock for me.
Oh, it absolutely fucking was. So you want a soda? What the, soda? Well, yeah.
Pop.
Forgot your khakis.
Yeah.
But
it's a little extreme. Yeah.
Forgot my khakis.
Dude, so pretty much my parents decided they're gonna move us out of there because of the gang bullshit. So we moved to where I'm at now and went to high school here. Pretty much in high school, I was just kind of always.
Did you get good grades?
Fuck no.
Oh,
You're
right.
Fucking honor roll.
That's right.
But
yeah, right.
Dude, but I bet if
you were in the chess club, man. It's just my cane. Don't worry about it. You were in the chess club.
Dude, but I bet if I went to high school now, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. I'd probably be a lot more interested in the shit that's going on now.
Yeah, well, it's
a little late for that, though.
Good point.
So, what was your first motorcycle?
Sportster, Nightster, 1200.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right away to the Harley.
Right away.
I think fucking Shaggy and fucking Kellen also started out with a Harley.
Yeah.
I thought Shaggy's was an 883, but.
Well, he had that Iron Head.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think Kellen had an 883 or a Sporty or some sort, which is kind of weird because he's like, you know, 6'3" and like 300 pounds.
Right.
You know?
Well, you should have seen me on a KZ 650.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So.
I've always been tall and gangly, so.
Yeah, I saw you on your Suzuki.
Yeah, I look weird.
Yeah. But that's cool. So right to the 1200.
Yeah, dude, I've always wanted a bike, and through high school, I always wanted a bike. I just never. My friends grew up with dirt bikes and shit. My parents couldn't afford to get us a dirt bike, so I would always ride my friends' fucking dirt bikes.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Dude, always fucking use their shit, and
I was always friends with hillbillies because they had the coolest fucking toys,
dude,
man.
Yup.
Dude, I used to fucking bum around on a dude's bike. It was like what was it? It was like a Honda 450 from like the 70s. I don't even want to put a year on it, but it was like a Honda 450 4-stroke dirt bike. I think, dude, there wasn't a tree in his woods that I didn't bounce off. It was a big dirt bike.
That's a big dirt bike, yeah.
And, I was bouncing off every fucking thing. Dude, we fucking used to try to jump that thing from ditch to ditch across the road. It was just fucking crazy. Fucking, you ever ridden a trike? Or not a trike, a three-wheeler.
Yeah, those things are fucking. You'll
Dude.
flip that thing over like it's nothing.
Fucking
everybody flipped them
Yeah.
over. That's what they did.
Well, that's why they
over.
quit making them.
Exactly.
Fucking, we used to have fucking, I think it was a Honda Big 10 or something like that, three-wheeler. Dude, fucking, I'm surprised we're all still alive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They were pretty bad.
Yep.
Dude, so I grew up, riding their dirt bikes and learning how to ride like that.
Yeah.
Never really took a bike out on the road. It was always at somebody's farm or in a gravel pit out in the middle of nowhere or whatever. And then growing up, one of my best friend's parents they were bikers. Like,
Yeah.
now that I think about it, they were like kind of like the real fucking deal from like back in the 70s.
Oh, here we go now. Just like on the Biker's Life.
It wasn't
What's
like
a
it was.
real biker? It wasn't like it was. Yeah.
Real deal.
Well, in my description is what I thought they were the real deal.
Well, you're an admin on the Biker's Lifestyle page.
Yeah.
So you how many times you seen the argument? well, a real biker would do this. A real biker doesn't do that. They don't get offended. So.
I think that everybody has their own definition of what a real biker is.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
that's what I say is who cares?
Yeah.
Really?
Seriously, there's not a checklist. You know,
I've never seen one.
Yeah, there's not a form you have to fill out.
But some guys actually, they think it's like this. You know, you go to the Harley dealership, and he's looking at that 883 the first time, and then this guy from over in the corner goes, Psst, "Hey, go over here. Yeah, here, come here, man. Here's the secret code book.
Yeah.
All right, now you got to learn how to use the pool cue to break over somebody's back. You know,
Oh,
you're gonna be a biker now.
Yeah.
So."
How many miles did you ride this year? Oh, I rode this many. You didn't make the cutoff. You're no longer a biker.
You're not a biker, yeah.
You're now a motorcycle enthusiast.
We'll take one testicle, please.
That's right.
Yeah.
Turn in your hog membership.
Oh, fucking open with a joke. Gotta love that shit, man. Gotta love that shit.
We'll mail it back to you.
I know.
So you get out there, you start riding. I mean, everybody, you know, you start riding on mini bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you got the Nightster?
19.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19. Dude, I just walked into the dealer and I was just curious. The guy was like, "Hey, you're interested in wanting to buy a bike?" He, of course, seen a dumb young kid that.
Like, no, I came in for your frozen yogurt.
Well, I wasn't in there looking for a bike, to be honest. So
Were
he
you?
probably,
Okay.
yeah.
Just buying T-shirts.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
everybody
Playing
else.
the role.
Ah,
you know?
the boutique,
Yeah.
yes, the Harley boutique, playing the role.
And he pretty much probably seen a young dumb kid. He was like, "Hey, let me see if I can take advantage of him real quick and see what we can do." He goes, "Hey, are you interested in getting that bike?" I said, "Actually, I am." He goes, "Well, all you got to do is sign the paperwork." So we went through with the paperwork, and he goes, "Hey, if you bring me back $1,200 tomorrow, you can take that thing off the lot." So I went to the bank.
Sucker.
Yeah, I went to the bank, got $1,200, and had to have somebody else come take it off the lot because I didn't have a license at the time. And then we got around the corner. I jumped on it and rode it home.
Right on.
Well, so what was the next one?
Oh, the one after that, I had a 96 Fat Boy with a carburetor on it.
Wow.
So after I got my first Sportster, two of my other friends got bikes. So now we're all kind of just riding around together, you know, whatever.
And then they formed a gang.
And then we came about, right. But
Riding
then,
through this world. Anyways.
So then, dude, we would ride all the time. I got rid of that Sportster because I just was, dude, look at me. I'm way too big to be fucking riding one of those things.
Yeah.
And I made it into a hardtail, and when you go on 43 with a hardtail and you hit every fucking single bump for 55 miles straight.
Yep.
Wisconsin has the 5th worst roads in America. Any friggin' road you get on them.
And I had a solo seat on it with the springs in it.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
my fat ass busted the springs on that.
Nice.
Not
Come on,
once,
man.
but twice. The second time around, I didn't put springs back on it. I just fucking rode it like that.
Let alone even what the roads do to the rims around here, too. But
Yeah, so I got rid of it because I wanted something a little bigger and a little more my size. So I got got a Fat Boy and it had a carburetor on it.
There's a joke in there, just so you know.
There's
I'm
gotta
going to
be.
leave it alone.
Right.
Anyways, carburetor.
And I was used to fucking riding a fuel-injected bike. And my friends had fuel-injected bikes. So, dude, we'd go ride, and he'd be having a good time, and everybody's ready to go, and I'm fucking cranking the throttle twice and opening the choke. And this thing had the decompressors on the heads, so I had to press those in. Dude, it sucked. And everybody's halfway down the road, and here I'm trying to catch up still because my bike's not warmed up and ready to go yet. So,
I don't know. I like that old school feel, man. I like that having a...
The sound's
Climate,
way
you
different,
know?
obviously.
Yeah.
The sound's cool, yeah.
The first fuel injection bike I ever owned is the one I have now, and I got it like 2 years ago. So, you know, I mean, carburetors for me are like, I don't know, they're simple. Meaning, you know, I can tune it with jets and all this instead of I have to take it somewhere and then they have to hook it up to one of these Fandangle computers and then they have to download a program and send my bike a fucking email to make it run right because I put fucking mufflers on it, you know.
That'll be $450.
Yeah,
please.
$450, please. Yeah, because I hooked up the laptop, you know. But, you know. So you got the Fat Boy.
Yep, rode that for a while, and and then I got a Dyna.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was probably my
Wow.
favorite bike that I had, to be honest.
How tall were your T-bars?
I didn't have T-bars.
Didn't have T-bars? What?
You didn't watch Sons of Anarchy? You weren't inspired?
You didn't have the fairing and the T-bars and
No.
The little bubble fairing in the front? Come on.
God damn it, dude.
What is wrong with this guy?
But
He doesn't even wear his shirt buckled up to the top. He's a
Well,
Mexican.
yeah.
I mean,
But I
come
did
on.
post those pictures
Sorry.
up of those club style bikes the other day. Those ones are
Right.
pretty cool.
Right. No, they are
Yeah,
fucking
some
cool.
of them are cool,
I
yeah.
mean, because I used to have a Dyna, and I had apes, you know, because I didn't like T-bars because I was like, oh, that's Sons of Anarchy gay shit, fuck that. But long story short, fucking
What's up, brother?
the T-bars don't look bad.
No, fuck. We got another microphone, too.
Hey, you want to be on a podcast?
Want to be in a podcast?
Rockstar guy?
We're about to have a fan meeting in the basement, though.
Oh.
Fan meeting in the basement.
I figured you guys were playing Thursday, so we just set up here.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh,
We
yeah,
haven't
we're
touched any of your equipment,
not,
man.
We're not jamming tonight because we got to have this fan meeting. So we're to jam. We're talking in the basement.
And we're just doing this shit.
Why's it got to be shit?
Why you got to have your meeting in the basement?
Because we're secret.
Oh, top secret
man.
band stuff.
Hey, brother, I want to say it meant a lot to me yesterday. You showing up at my dad's funeral like that.
I knew your dad was or your brother was a pastor right when he started fucking talking. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm fucking going to hell.
He didn't need.
And the way he looked at us when we walked down to get ham sandwiches, I was like, yep, they hate us.
Nah, that's not true. That's not true at all. Not true at all, man.
Fucking A. Ham sandwiches.
Actually, they're roast beef and turkey with ham.
Oh,
It's on.
It's on, yeah.
it's on. We're recording right now. Oh, you just fucking the whole world.
It's not white
The
power.
whole world.
Oh, man, we're going to get mail.
Should we talk about the circle game?
Well,
for
might
all
as well, sure.
So the circle game is you do
We'll get
this,
back to you, don't worry.
No, we're good.
and if somebody looks at it, then you punch them, because that's what you do. And I don't know why I don't know where it started. I don't know if it is a Midwest thing only.
I haven't really seen it many other places, but
So yeah, it's only in the Midwest according to us.
that was in high
All
school.
factual. That's all factual, what I just said. So if somebody looks at that, and it's got to be below your waist, you can't like put it in their face. You got to be below your waist. If they look at it, you punch them. And then somehow it became like a racist symbol. I don't know how that came along. Like the OK thing turned into a racist thing. I don't have the guidebook on how that happened, but long story short, so you got the fat boy, and then you got a Dinah.
Dinah. With
Yeah.
no T-bars, no
No
fairing,
T-bars, no fairing, because, you know,
You know.
what the fuck.
Dude, so then at that point, I'd moved out of, I was living on my own, so I didn't have really that much money after I had bought that bike or whatever. Dude, all kinds of shit started going wrong with it. All kinds of shit.
Well, it was obviously your fault, because
Yeah.
Dinahs don't break.
That's
Fucking-
right.
Dude, the fucking,
Oh, yeah, no, we'd totally be pissing blood on each other if we had periods. That's 100%
Right.
real.
Yeah.
show the camera.
Yeah, show the Is that coming in?
No, I tilted a little. That ain't showing up.
That ain't showing up, but it's fucking hilarious, trust
You'd
us.
be laughing your ass off. You
All
would.
factual things.
Oh my God! You've never seen anything like it before in your life.
So
Sorry
you-
you missed it. It was just us four that saw it.
I'll put my pants back on.
Why? But,
Dude,
so you couldn't keep your Dinah running right because of...
because I didn't have money, dude. And it's,
Well,
dude,
yeah.
and I think I was like, what, probably 24, 25 at the time. I had a decent job, but the place that I worked at closed down, so I had to take some fucking shitty job.
Yeah.
doing some shitty
The
stuff.
American
Anyways, dude,
fucking lament. Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I didn't have the money to maintain this thing, and dude, all kinds of shit went wrong with it.
Really?
The rear caliper seized up, and I fucking didn't notice it for like 10 miles. So I wore the brake pads down. So
Did you
I fucking,
smell it first?
No, I took a fucking flathead and I fucking pulled the calipers out, and I would just use my front brake.
Yeah.
And then from using my front brake so much, my fucking fork seal started to leak. So I took some rags with some electrical tape and yeah, did that, and I rode the shit out of that thing though.
Right.
I was at the point where I didn't care, but I just couldn't afford to fucking. It's sad to say, it's almost like I couldn't afford to ride, but I wanted to ride so much that I just really didn't fucking care.
The only thing cheap about a motorcycle is the amount of gas you put in it. Other than that, I mean, that's the only cheap thing
Dude,
about motorcycles.
Hundreds of dollars.
But that-
Hundreds of dollars.
dude, a lot of-
What's up, man?
A lot of people say like, oh, well, like why don't these younger guys buy these bikes? They're so fucking, you know what I mean? They're so fucking expensive. It's crazy. I mean, even now as an adult, I have a hard time maintaining my bike and trying to do shit with it because it's still so fucking expensive.
You realize we've got people who are going to watch this. They're going, learn to fucking fix your bike, asshole.
Learn to fix your bike, fucking asshole. Anyways, but no, I mean, no, you bring up an interesting point because, yeah, Harley's got that reputation, you know. Oh, they break down all the time, they fucking leak oil, yada, yada, yada. I've owned almost the majority of the popular brands. They all have the same problem. Like you mentioned, oh, my caliper seized up, you know. Well, that's probably due because Harleys, especially I think the Dyna you know, yeah, it could be all Harleys, but I think Dynas, especially FXRs, also have like a problem with the rear master cylinder where they don't let the fluid come back. So it'll actually, once you use the brake, it won't release the fluid.
Right.
So, like, is that a really expensive fix? Yeah, if you take it to a dealership, it could be a couple $100, this, that, and the other thing. But every bike has its own things. Like, Yamaha's got a problem with their second gear synchros going out. You know, and I'll fight people for that. I mean, every Yamaha I've ever owned had a problem with its second gear.
And false neutral between third and fourth.
Yeah. Or, you know, Honda's got a problem with their cam tensioner fucking chain, or the timing chain. The cam, it makes a bunch of fucking... I mean, every bike has its fucking problems. And, yeah, if you want to go back to the AMF eras where they pissed fucking oil like crazy and blew up, yeah, okay, that was a dark fucking time. But let's be honest, fucking, you can get over 100,000 miles on an Evo.
Yeah.
You know, we have a brother with over 250,000 miles on a twin cam, you know.
Hopefully we'll get that back up and he'll get it up on the
Yeah,
road.
yeah. And, but I mean, it's, Harleys are expensive, motorcycles are expensive, life's fucking expensive.
Right. But let's get back to the whole the expensive.
You don't tell us what to do on a fucking show.
No, because we are on a pretty interesting topic on the.
Are we?
I think.
I don't know.
For me, no, for me it is because a lot of people.
Oh, it's all about Mijo. It's Mijo Day.
All right,
No,
that was Mijo, folks. Thanks a lot. We're going to bring the new guest in. We got the boys from Revolution X here in the background.
Yeah, they're going to play music.
Yeah.
No, but being young and trying to ride a bike and trying to, I guess, so-called live the biker lifestyle, I guess you could say it's hard as a young guy because it's expensive.
Yep.
You know, you have to be able to maintain your bike. You have to be able to pay to go on trips, just like anybody else. But when you're younger, it's harder.
Especially, I mean, when you're in a club.
Yeah.
You know, the club is a different level of being a biker than.
Well, try getting older
just your
and
independent.
having a family and trying to afford it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can even imagine.
Yeah, I mean.
So
Like,
at that point, are you like, do I buy diapers or do I buy oil for my bike?
Yeah, but it's different. It's different.
We'll just
for
put a
everyone.
rag on the baby. We'll be good.
Well, yeah.
Every biker's lifestyle is different.
Yeah.
It's the one that suits them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a post on biker's lifestyle a couple months ago, I think, and one guy was saying, "Hey, you know, it's about getting drunk and all that."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when people are starting to get on there saying, "Oh, well, that's not biker's lifestyle. If that's what you mean." I'm like, "Well, it's what his is. You know,
Yeah.
what yours is, what works for you, man. So what the hell do you care?" And that's why we're doing this show. It's not about a brand. It's not about a club. It's about riding.
Oh, and
We don't even care what you ride.
yeah, you do what, it's been said before, you do what you can,
Right.
you know? I mean, are you living the biker's lifestyle? I mean, to whose standard,
Yeah.
you know?
That's true.
Yeah, what's your basis for comparison, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you're fucking some dude that's able to fucking ride 20, 30, 60,000 miles a year, goes from coast to coast, blah, 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 well, chances are other things in your life are drastically different than mine. I can't do that. I have to go to work. I got to pick a kid up from school, blah, blah, blah.
Is that why you usually just set up the Wednesday night bike night and then?
What's that?
So is that
Yeah,
usually...
that's a school night, man. I can't stay out late that night and drink all night. Occasionally it happens, but whatever, you know. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things, where, can I just drop everything and disappear for a week? No. I got to fucking plan shit out fucking 6 months in advance half the fucking time.
But then you get those guys out there that can do those things, they don't do those things.
Yeah, if you're a retired gentleman who has some decent income sitting around, yeah, you can just go gallivanting around the world. Or if you want to live the hardcore 1970s or whatever
Scooter
biker
tramp life.
Yeah, scooter tramp lifestyle where you're sleeping on the side of the road and all that jazz, hey man, more power to you. If you want to be a bum on a motorcycle, you go right the fuck ahead. That's awesome. I almost think about being that because it's fucking sounds awesome.
It sounds pretty
It
stress
does.
free, you know.
It does. It does.
The stress level is what you make.
Exactly. But there's other things I want in life, like a house and food occasionally more often. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, everything comes with a cost, you know.
Beer's not free.
It's true.
Beer's not free. They charge for that shit. Whiskey's not free. Fucking food's not free. Fucking whatever.
Ain't
And,
nothing free anymore.
if you're able to do it where you can just be a biker and you can just do biker stuff and you can afford to make a living by any means necessary, more fucking power to you. More fucking power to you. That's fucking awesome. But that's not the norm.
Yeah.
You know,
For anybody.
Yeah.
So there you are. You got your Nightster. You're riding. What was the first long trip you took? first what you would call, was it the one with Dirty?
Yeah, that
You
was like
guys
my
went
first real long trip
Really?
that I've
Yeah.
ever taken. Yeah, so after a while, my friends sold their bikes and pretty much what we were just talking
Yeah.
about. Got married, bought a house, had kids.
He's actually, he and his wife have something stronger than the bond of marriage between them. It's called a mortgage.
Yep,
Oh,
Yeah, much stronger than the bond of marriage.
that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
That's a big deal. I'm a grown-up now.
So-
Officially a grown-up.
That was a good trip for you guys. We heard about Kellen's side of it, how he was going to go on,
Yeah.
but he ended up
Yeah.
doing something else. But you guys went off and you saw the Smoky Mountains. You went
went to
over to-
Nashville.
Went to Nashville. It's not as cool as you would hope it would be.
You went over to Knoxville too, didn't you? Gatlinburg area,
Yeah.
Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
Pigeon Forge.
Yeah,
Dolly Parton, land of Dolly Parton.
Dude, Nashville's totally weird though. It's such a weird vibe down there.
It's-
just a weird place in general.
Nowadays, I mean, I hate to say it, it's more hipster than it is country.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm like,
Well, it's
No,
country.
it's like-
it's country even country
Dude,
anyway.
no.
it's country. Well, I mean, it's Nashville is country with hipsters in it. It's
Yeah.
it's strange. Like you'll hear country music and you'll see some cowboy boots and some cowboy hats, but 95% of the people there made like 6 figures a year and were drinking fucking apple martinis.
Yeah, it was like
you know?
60-year-old dudes with like 20-year-old. It was so weird to see
Oh my
this. Like
God.
20-year-old chicks.
Yeah, it was like everybody was like had like a sugar daddy or a fucking trophy wife or arm candy or whatever. It's it's fucking strange.
And we're just like walking down the street, sticking out like sore thumbs. I think out of
Yeah,
all these
no, well,
people. Yeah.
Well, you had to wear that shirt that had
Oh,
an
yeah.
upside down cross, and then we almost had to beat up a religious person.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was
you
wearing.
know they're a little religious down there in Nashville.
Yeah.
They're
Who
like
would have thought?
they have churches and shit.
Yeah,
they-
he's like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom after the first bar. He goes, no, we'll go. So he's in the fucking pisser, and I'm standing out there just waiting for him. Some guy's like, hey, can I ask you something? Something about your shirt? I'm like, yeah, it's got an inverted cross on it. He goes, do you believe in God? And I'm like totally fucking caught off guard at this point because I just seen all these 60-year-old guys with these 20-year-old chicks, and I'm wondering what the fuck I'm doing wrong in life compared to them. And then this guy comes out of nowhere and starts asking me this shit. So as I'm thinking about this, he walks out of the bathroom. The guy goes, hey, do you believe in God? Nope. Look, we got to go. We fucking left.
That's probably good.
As soon as I came walking out, I'm like standing there next to him, and he's like, "Do you believe in Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior?" No. Oh, okay. We gotta go.
But there's plenty of bikers that do believe, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
cool
and
too.
that's-
So
I wish I could. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck.
everybody, it's different for everybody.
It is.
So
Totally.
I heard on that trip you had some tire problems.
Yeah, I
You
believe.
You bought a half rate tire, I guess.
No, this was. He just had an old tire.
I somehow went through 3 tires last year, too, which is fucking just
Many a
crazy.
season I've gone through 3 tires.
But yeah, so we're like, what,
Well,
300?
I'm fat riding 2 up with my wife in the back, so I'm going to burn through a little more tires.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big dude, too.
I
so.
notoriously went through 3 a summer.
I just ride like an asshole, so I burn them up.
Yeah, I know. I've ridden with you.
Yeah.
I
No,
love it.
so we're like 300 miles south of here, and fucking all of a sudden he starts getting a little bit in front of me, and I feel like when you get in those grooves on the fucking interstate,
yeah.
it kind of
Oh,
wiggles
yeah.
you a little bit, and then you can get right out of it, and you're good to go. So I thought I was in one of those grooves, and I'm watching his bike, and he's good, and so here I think I'm in one of those grooves, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to get out of this groove. So I gas it to get out of the groove, and when I gas it to get out of the groove, the whole fucking back end swings out on me, and my nuts went straight through my throat.
Oh yeah.
And we're doing probably 85, 90 at that point. So I fucking pulled off, and sure enough, I looked, and fucking
Well,
flat tire.
Pops came down to see me
Oh, yeah.
in Florida. So he came down to see me. So I said, yeah, well, I'll ride up a little ways and meet you. It was about 70 miles from the house. I'll meet you here at this place, and we'll ride into Bradenton together. And so I pull in, and a guy comes up. He says, hey, I think your back tire might need some air. So I go over and oh fuck, I look at him. Holy crap! I had like 9 pounds of pressure in the tire.
Dude, my sidewall is
And,
pretty much the only thing that was holding me up.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much with me too. So we bring it over to it was a big clusterfuck. So we bring it over to the tire machine and fill it up. I can hear air coming out of it, So I'm like, oh, well, we got to get it home. Pops can't see. He didn't have his friggin', he didn't have his clears.
Right.
So he's got sunglasses on. The sun's starting to go down. We got to stop every 10, 15 miles, or probably 15, 17 miles for me to throw more air in the back of the tire. So I know all about that butt pucker and that goosey,
That's
because I'm trying to hot foot it down 70, 75,
Dude, so the crazy thing about this trip, something that I noticed, So luckily I was at an like a mile and a half off an exit.
Yeah. After I realized that you were fucking, half a mile, 3/4 of a mile behind me,
going on,
sitting
man?
on the side of the road.
Another member from Revolution X came in, folks.
Satan. Anyways, but
That would be me because I was here and you weren't. But you weren't in the building.
There's another show going on the other side of the room.
Dude,
too.
There's
we
so
were
many
like
shows
a mile
going
and a
on
half-
here.
Yeah, we were like, what, a mile and a half from that exit?
yeah, we weren't even that.
Yeah.
We weren't even that. We were like maybe a half a mile.
Yeah.
And sitting there patching a fucking motorcycle tire with a rope plug. Wow. Wow, we make the executive fucking decision. Now we're fucking 200 miles from home, and our destination is like what 600 miles or whatever the fuck it was. We're making the do we turn around and go back, or do we continue on with our trip? Now we all had the days off of work,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Dude, here I am, my first long trip, and with them, and
I had more rope plugs if need be.
and he said that, and I said, well, let's go.
Yeah. So you
Dude.
rode to Nashville from Southern Illinois. Yeah, Southern Illinois to Nashville, and then Nashville to Gatlinburg, and then the wrong way 100 miles from Gatlinburg back to Wisconsin
On a plug.
on a plug.
On a plug.
Yeah, every gas stop
There you
was
go.
check tire pressure.
Dude, but
Yeah.
the crazy thing, when we pulled over at that first gas station, like, just this random dude just goes, hey, you guys good, blah, blah. He goes, I had a bike lift right around the corner. I got some plugs as well. He goes, you guys only... Dude, it's crazy when we went on those... It's crazy how many nice people you meet actually along these fucking trips, believe it or not. You think that everybody's going to be an asshole or whatever, but...
And that wasn't the only problem we had on that trip.
No,
You lost your fucking shifter linkage.
Yeah, that
Fucking
sucked.
Harleys, man.
So there we are on the side of the road, again,
Yeah.
with a knife and a pair of channel locks trying to fucking fix this.
And then we had, shout out to, God, what was that? Smoky
place?
Mountain
Yeah.
Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a service center, by the way. It's just like a, God, what they call it, an outlet?
They have like a clothing store or
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we
The
thought it
people
was.
were nice, though.
Yeah, they were fucking cool as shit. They were
Borrowed
fucking
stools and
checking trunks for fucking, or looking for tools and
yeah,
shit.
Give us
I
water.
find for the most part, the people that work for the Harley dealerships are usually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just the owners.
Oh, yeah.
Issues
Yeah.
sometimes.
Now we got it back together and went, whatever it
Gotta
was,
love that,
700
man.
miles
Dude,
back.
Hey, you
And
made
then
it.
one more time before we got one more time before we got back. The last gas stop,
Yeah.
we pull away and he fucking takes off because at this point we just want to fucking get home. Because mind you, we're coming through Chicago going 101 miles an hour in 39-degree weather.
Well, yeah, it was like 95 degrees in Gatlinburg. We get to Chicago, it's like 42. Yeah, I had every article of clothing that was in my saddlebag was on my body.
Dude, freezing. And we're just that fucking interstate, just boom, boom, boom.
No,
That's about right, man.
After pothole, and at one point we're riding, we're just going probably 100, and I turn over and look, and there's the state trooper next to
Yeah,
us.
state trooper right next to us. We all slow down. The state trooper, us, and yeah, we're doing like 70 and a 55, and we're just all kind of looking at each other like, well, if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it type deal.
He left us alone. He kept on his way. We
Yeah,
were
he
all
went
right,
on
we're
his
good.
way. Yeah.
But yeah, that last gas stop, my fucking shift linkage came apart again,
Yep.
and then my fucking clutch went out at that stop sign, and here we
I
come.
turned- Huh?
Here we come at 6:30 in the
Yeah.
fucking morning with the ratchet strapped around my forks, and he's pulling me on his butt.
It's the first time
Oh, well, hey,
I ever used my bike as a tow truck before. So
it's a great story, man.
Yeah, it was a fucking
Yeah,
super
you
good
made
time.
it. It
Yeah.
sucks sometimes when you're going through it, but
it makes it the road is interesting.
that's what makes
Yeah.
the lifestyle interesting. you
Yeah.
know?
So you kind of alluded that you're kind of younger than me and Tank here, early 30s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you this. Let's talk about the Rusty Butcher.
Let's talk.
What's interesting to me is that it seems like, well, no, we're
No,
gonna
I'm
talk
okay
about
with
the
that.
Rusty
Yeah, no, we're
Butcher.
good.
No,
All right.
we're gonna talk about Rusty Butcher. Hashtag Rusty Butcher. Butcher's World. Anyways, but I was like the same way about Jesse James and West Coast Choppers. Had all the T-shirts, knew all the builds. What's the story with you liking Rusty Butcher? What takes you over to that camp?
So it's like, to me, it's a little more. At the time that I started getting into it, it was a little bit more of an off-brand.
Yeah.
It wasn't as popular as it is now.
Right.
And it wasn't your. I'm sure somebody's gonna get offended, but I don't fucking care.
Yeah, we've offended so many.
Fucking,
On this
it wasn't
episode.
your usual fucking typical dealer fucking shirt with the.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm wearing one right now.
Right.
But do you know what I mean? It was something. It was something different that was aimed at a younger crowd that it attracted guys like me, and like they were like just starting to get into the so-called biker world or whatever. So where a lot of the other stuff is like, dude, it's just like designed for like just weird fucking people, studded belts and shit like that, and cowboy boots and all that other, like, dude, that's not me. Like, dude, I fucking like wearing a pair of shoes and a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, and that's what I like to ride in.
Right. Well, I mean, that was the same way for me when, because I'm 10, 12 years older than you. When West Coast choppers and the whole chopper craze took off in the early 2000s, it wasn't tassels and, the whole leather jackets and the really tight pants and it was iron crosses, and it was, beanies and Loke sunglasses and all that, all spider webs, But
kid sneakers.
It kind of seems like things kind of come around. Like one year it's going to be if you're a badass if you got a West Coast chopper shirt on. Now it seems to be more of a Rusty Butcher thing, and I think it kind of seems like you try to find something that sets you apart from the generation or the people that came before you.
Right.
So.
But I think the mentality is always like the same, no matter what age you are. Either you have it or you don't.
You're rebelling.
Yeah.
And you can't rebel and dress like your parents at the same fucking time. You know what I mean?
No.
So.
But
what took you to the I guess the custom culture for motorcycles as opposed to just, I'm an enthusiast and I don't touch it?
What do you mean? Like as in?
Well, like Rusty Butcher, he's a motorcycle fabricator, racer, blah blah blah. And there's also those guys, you might not know them because we don't really hang around with them very much, but they're not into that. Harley Davidson made it the right way the first time, and I'm not going to touch the motherfucker. And they're all about their, or it doesn't even have to be Harley Davidson.
Yeah,
it could be
it is, right.
anything. There's certain BMW guys that will not put, a part on their bike if BMW didn't make it. They won't.
Honda guys are like that too.
Honda, whatever.
It's got to be the Honda wash. And
Yep.
The Honda oil.
Yep. It's got to be, whatever.
Dude, because I mean, I guess this might sound kind of cheesy, but I guess as much as I'm gonna say it, dude, like I like the custom world because your bike almost describes you in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
You put in what your vision is and what you feel and what's comfortable for you and the shit you like. You don't put skulls on your bike and care if, I mean, at least I wouldn't put shit like that and be like, oh, I wonder if this person, I don't fucking care what you like. I'm going to put what I want on my bike. So I guess I went that way because it's a kind of another way to voice yourself.
Well,
I guess,
I mean,
and show who you are and what you like and the things you do like and things you don't like. Where other shit's just kind of like, dude, it's so typical and normal and it's the same boring ass shit. Like some of these like. So I've always been into old school hardtails, sugar bear front ends, chain drive, shit like that. But like, dude, a lot of guys, let's be honest, a lot of guys my age now or younger are into these big wheel baggers. And don't get me wrong, there's some out there that are fucking pretty cool and stuff.
Some are ugly as
But
shit.
a lot of them
I'm not into it.
But a lot of them are it's like the same typical shit. They all are the same. It's usually a road glide with a 26 or 23 inch fucking wheel on it.
Then the meme I saw today, it said, my boyfriend and I tried to leave the bar. It took us an hour to find our black road glide, or whatever.
But
it's true because they all look the same.
It's true but it's like in their mind, it's like they're trying to be so different, but yet you're the same as everybody else around you.
Yeah, let's piss off some more people. I said the same thing about the goth movement when my kids got into goth in high school, and I'm like, you're all trying to be different, but you're all the same.
Yeah. And then if you go back
so
to like,
you're trying to be independent, and I like that. That's cool.
So then you go back to the
Did you hear what I just said?
Yes, I'm trying to be
well, then
independent.
fucking acknowledge it for God's sake. He's terrible
Thanks,
at
I
being
appreciate
I don't like it when you guys fight.
I know.
No, but I like that 70s style and shit like that because like dudes are building shit in the garage and they were making one of a kind things that you weren't going to fucking find at drag specialties or at the dealer down
one-off parts, man.
Yeah, I mean you're talking they were fucking bending rebar and fucking
sure
railroad ties
they're
and
building.
yeah.
Well, it's back then. I mean they were. I mean, let's be realistic. They were starting a culture. The whole customizing culture, the whole, aftermarket culture came from that. As we're today, if you want to set a, fucking whatever kind of handlebars, you flip open a Dennis Kirk catalog, or, well, I showed my age, flip open catalog. You go on their website and you Google search it, and you can probably find them, as we're back in the day, you had to make them. I think it's interesting that it always seems like there's always that part of any generation, whether it's millennials, Gen Xers, whatever, that has to, I'm going to rebel, I'm going to go against the fucking status quo, I'm going to fucking do my own thing. And I noticed that with you, like, that's your, you like the Rusty Butcher. Awesome. He's a cool guy. But that's like, every generation has that, hero, if you will, whether it's, I like, Jesse James, or I liked Arlen Ness, or whatever the fuck it is. There's always that.
Arlen makes some fucked up shit, man.
Well, but, I mean.
Some sweet stuff, too,
Right, if you were in the 80s and you had, some, or, well, I guess early 90s, and you had them giant, like, aluminum with the, like, tribal designs and all that shit kind of wheels or handlebars.
My victory's in Arlen Ness. It's
exactly.
the first year he was with him, so.
It's one of those things where every generation has that custom builder, and all want to go to him because he's against the factory, or he's against the social norm,
Yeah,
so.
but I got into, like, even shit like Indian Larry was one of my favorite guys.
Oh, yeah.
I always watched build a bike.
Yeah.
And I like Rusty Butcher.
Billy Lane was, I thought he was a fucking genius when it came to building bikes. But
Shitty driver.
bad joke.
Oh, yeah. But,
But, like, I don't know. It's all right to be different, I guess.
Yeah. No, and I think that's what's cool, is because, you see, I mean.
Dude, when I first started riding, there'd be so many older guys that'd be like, dude, why don't you wear boots? Why don't you have a leather coat? Why don't you have leather chaps? And it's like, this is the way I like to ride, man.
Well, the first time you tried to come along with us when you were, a probate, and I said, hey, man, we're going from where we're at to where we're going. Meet us at this point. And you did, 100%. But it was 48 degrees and raining in October, and you were wearing a sweatshirt. And we had hundreds of miles to put on. We were like, hey, man.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
You got a jacket?
Nope.
Nope.
But that goes back to my mentality again. Like, dude, I was never like, dude, when I started riding, like, I was like, leather's cheesy, and that's fucking old dudes. And, dude, what did I go do the day after that? I went and bought a leather coat because I fucking learned my lesson. It's not about the look. It's what it does for you when you're out there getting fucking wet.
Do you know why I have a chain wallet? Because one time I looked back into my rearview mirror. I said, wow, that felt funny out of my pocket. I looked in the rearview mirror and watched, boom, my wallet blow up on the road behind me. And I said, that's why they wear the chain. Son of a gun, look at that.
When I started riding cruisers, I started wearing a chain on my wallet, because, I come from the sport bike, that whole deal. So when your legs are bent back, you got pressure on your buttocks, right? So it keeps your pants tight. Well, when you're stretched out on a Harley, less pressure. Problem is, your fucking wallet might fall out of your goddamn pocket, and the last thing you want to do is just assume that nobody's going to use your credit cards. So
I was lucky I felt it.
Yeah, I
You know?
I think what's interesting is the point I'm trying to make is every generation has their counterculture.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring that up is that how we're all three admins on the Bikers Lifestyle Facebook page, aka Shit Show.
Yeah.
And
porn page.
But
Softcore
we
porn
hear it in bars, we hear it in clubhouses. The older generation shitting on the newer generation. The older generation telling the newer generation, hey, and not to take anything away from the guys before us, but it all seems kind of the same sometimes.
Dude, but weren't those old dudes doing the same shit we're doing now, rebelling against their...
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, and that's adolescence, You're going to have a period in your life where people that are older than you don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and you're going to fucking do your own thing, and you're going to show them and blah, blah, blah. And then you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, well, I got it figured out too, and, well, maybe I was wrong about X, Y, Z, but now I got it figured out. These younger guys behind me don't know what the fuck they're doing, though. And then the cycle continues.
Yeah.
And I think it's fucking interesting that we talk to guys. Honestly, you're the oldest Well, no, I think Kellen might be older, but all the guys we're talking to are younger guys. You know, Rico, what is he? Early 20s?
Yeah.
Jesse, you know what I mean?
Right.
Kellen, you know, you, younger guys, younger than us, not exactly midlife crisis guys, where, you know, you've got houses and families and blah blah blah. You know, you're still out there, kicking ass, taking names, young, dumb, full of cum. Fuck it, let's do it. You know, and I'm sure you've heard it, and I'm sure it's pissed you off where these older guys, well, you don't know shit, man, because back in the day, it was way, and I'm sure it was.
But let's touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
So why is it that the older guys always talk shit to the younger guys like that? Well, you don't know this, blah, blah, blah. That's not the way things are. So instead of talking shit to us and putting us fucking down, why not teach us the rope and teach us the way to fucking do this shit? You know what I mean? I feel like there's certain things that are, I guess, I don't want to make this sound like school or anything, but there's certain things in this world that are fundamentals. You know what I mean? There's just certain things you should know.
Well, as Shaggy touched on it, there's certain things that are going to change.
Right.
Times change, things change. There's nothing you can do about it. And there's certain things that can never change.
Correct.
Right? And as far as, like, why don't older guys show the younger guys the ropes? Because nobody showed the older guys the ropes when they were younger.
So I guess that's where you figure it the fuck out,
It's part of growing up. It's part of just, you know, you got to, you know, if I told you, hey, man, you got to wear leathers, and if you don't wear fucking leathers and you're a fucking retard, and this is why you got to wear them, would you wear them?
Probably
No, it takes you being cold for fucking 16 fucking hours to realize, well, okay, leather's kind of cool, you know, keeps the wind off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. So lessons learned.
Lessons learned. If I told you, oh man, you got to quit doing X, Y, Z, otherwise you're gonna end up here, would you listen? Nope. But sure as shit, you find out, you know, and we know it. You know, older guys. God, I'm just call myself an older guy.
You got Gray coming in, brother.
Yeah, Gray coming in. I'm on medication now. Anyways, but I got to take my pills before I go to bed. Otherwise, I get a tummy ache. But anyways, you know.
No, I guess you're right. I mean.
Yeah. And that's why, in my opinion, not only that, but I mean, younger guys, in some cases, act like what?
You want to know if the lights fucked up the vid?
No, lights don't fuck up the vids. But we say vids around here because we're hip and cool and we're doing podcasts like fucking millennials, so we say vids instead of video.
Were you done with your point? Because I had a
totally lost my fucking train.
I know. Right? It was like squirrel moment. No offense, squirrel.
No
offense, squirrel.
No offense. Younger kids. I just fucking just made me think of that.
That's what made me think too. So I'll
like
finish your thought, man.
Older generations like myself, 40s, 50s, 30s,
almost 60s.
Almost 60s.
Yeah.
Just turned 41.
Yeah.
And then early 30s. So
57 here.
You have to understand that there's certain things like even your generation does that's way different than mine. You know, different disorders. You know, I have anxiety. What the fuck you mean you have anxiety? I don't even know what the fuck that means. You know what I mean? As where if you were younger and you're talking to a younger person, he's like, I got anxiety, don't understand. Oh, okay, well, I know. And, like trigger words. I don't even know what the fuck a trigger word is.
Right.
You know, I got to give you a trigger warning. I'm going to warn you I might piss you off, maybe.
It's interesting you bring that up because that was what I was just going to ask him too. Is I'm 57. I'll date myself. Coming from this social media fucking standpoint, what is it about, I'm not going to say your generation, but what is it about the fucking younger people that they go so offended by everything to the point where somebody's difference of opinion becomes a life and death situation? And it becomes so unbelievable, like the vehemence that I hear from the different sides of, I mean, the politics right now, I don't want to get into politics, but it seems to be we're very polarized as a nation right now.
Dude, I think a lot of that has to do with the way you're raised, to be honest.
Okay, well,
I think I think a lot of these kids that are sensitive to that shit have never been exposed to like real world shit, like problems, and
you mean like giving somebody a participation trophy for fucking 3 generations?
But like
bad?
you know, like dude, when I was a kid, like my parents, like they both worked fucking second shift jobs, and so then it's like, dude, we kind of had to like fend for ourselves. So it's like, dude, I might have cooked shit in the microwave, but I was cooking shit in the microwave. You know what I mean? I was learning all these things. So
yeah, I know what you mean.
So then, when things would happen at home, it'd be like my parents would just be like, don't worry about it, just move forward, don't. So it's like I was almost raised not being sensitive, I guess, to shit. So I'm not as but I think a lot of these kids nowadays are very privileged. They get what they want when they want it.
Well,
if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like if
I guess
you're talking about a sense of entitlement.
Yeah. I could talk about it. It's sort of parenting styles change, right? Like they say, if you're in your 40s or 50s, you're probably one of the first, I guess 50s and 60s. If you're in your 50s or 60s, you're one of the first generations to have a real childhood, meaning your parents let you play and do goofy shit and blah blah blah. Because you hear a lot of people that are like, 70. Well, I had to go to work when I was 10 years old, and I had chores, and I had XYZ to do, and it seems like every generation tries to, when they have kids and they're raising kids, they try to look at how they were raised. Okay, I really hated this, so I'm not going to do that, right?
Right.
Like, I got my mouth washed out with soap if I swore.
Yeah, well, you're talking about a permissive behavior.
Right. And if you look at, say, this generation now, if you try to wash some kids, you get arrested. Oh my God, what the fuck?
When I was in grade school, there was corporal punishment.
Yeah.
The teacher whooped your ass. They had them thick yardsticks, man. I caught it many a time.
And that didn't happen when I was a kid. And now I'm sure there's kids nowadays that have there's a sheet. They said, well, we're going to be talking about this subject, and if your child is sensitive to this subject, right?
But it's almost like they're sheltered to what's real.
Well, and that's,
you know what I mean? A kid getting an ass whooping when I was growing up, that was real. Like, oh, neighbor got his ass whooped because he did whatever, no big deal. But now if the neighbor kid's getting his ass whooped, somebody's calling the cops on his mom, CPS is showing up.
Well, you also come from a bigger city, so it's a little bit different, like suburban areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nowadays, if your kid yells at another kid, that kid will get sent home and with a letter, because emotional damage is just as real as physical damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it comes into, if I were, say, okay, I'm 41 and I run into a guy who's 21, right? And he's at a bike night. Am I going to go up to him and try to have a conversation with him? No, we live on two totally different, levels of life, And he's not going to want to hear the old guy with gray hair fucking bitch at him because, his tires are past the wear bars, So I guess my whole point to this whole segment is every generation could stand to pay respect and notice the other generation either before or after them.
Right.
So
these guys are starting to bleed in. I'm starting to hear it now, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
We're going to wrap this one up here pretty soon.
Yeah, got to be getting late.
It is. We've got about 55 minutes in on this. But
well, Mijo, being the ripe old age of early 30s, riding Harley-Davidsons across the country, getting flat tires, not wearing leathers in the rain, got any more words of wisdom for us?
No, not really. I think we're good on that one. Nope.
Well.
Nope.
I got to say, Mijo, as a club brother of yours, you're a pretty chill dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to be. I have my times.
But I'm going to call you out on something.
Oh, here we go.
A club brother gets in fucking touch with you when they're 1,300 miles away. Respond to them.
Dude, I am the worst.
You're terrible at it.
I'm just the worst with my phone, period. Just period. He fucking texted today. It took me an hour and a half to respond back.
Yeah.
Even for being my age, I'm not.
You admit it, but I just wanted to call you out, on YouTube.
Yeah. But even being my age, I'm not constantly on my fucking phone.
That's why we like you. Yeah. Hate people who are constantly on their phones.
Yeah.
So
stay off your fucking phone.
All right.
There we go.
Well,
stay off your fucking, especially when you're riding on the motorcycle.
There you go.
Or driving.
There you go. We'll end this episode by, hey, stay off your fucking phones while you're driving.
Yeah,
dicks.
Or riding. Yeah, dicks. Yeah. Oh, shit. All right, keep in mind, everybody, the most dangerous part on your motorcycle is the nut that connects the seat to the handlebars. Thanks a lot.
Yep.